Looks absolutely brilliant, mind you. It's cool. It's freezing today, but it's beautiful at the same time, which is quite cool. Walking up to lilDENNiS is with us. You can see little shadow. Look at lilDENNiS there. lilDENNiS. He's going to wave at you. Oh, I've got a runny nose. It's so cold out here. Hello, this is Sophie Lawson from sophielawson.com, and this is episode 139 of the Sophie Art Podcast, which is a little podcast that I do about the art and things. And today I'm a roving reporter. I'm out on location. lilDENNiS is with us, so the audio might be a bit weird today, because what we're going to do is we're going to interview, sort of interview, talk to random people and just ask them, I'm going to ask them about paranormal experiences. So I got a load of questions which I actually laminated on a piece of paper, and then I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to have loads of questions. I'm going to make this as simple as possible for me and for the other person. So I'm only going to ask one question, and it's going to be, have you ever had any paranormal experiences? So that's what we're going to do today. I've got a little microphone. It's quite funny. I'm not going to use this, but I thought it would have been quite funny to have had like a proper microphone and stuff, but it's a SingStar microphone. It's not even plugged in or nothing. But lilDENNiS, he said it's time to go. Get into this one. I'm so scared. I really am so scared. I am so scared, I am. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to walk down to Saltrum, which takes about an hour, and then I'm going to walk back again. Well, I'm going to walk to Saltrum, which is like this forest. It's like the woods. I'm going to walk through it for about 20 minutes. I'm going to walk back home, basically. So I'm going to walk for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And anybody I see along the way who's on their own, I'm going to say, would you like to be on the podcast? So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to guess, well, it might be that I don't actually get anybody. Because I was thinking, if a random person came up to me and said, would you like to be on a podcast? Especially if they had a camera, I'd probably say no. Yeah, so I'm expecting 95% of people will say no. Which is why I've made it super simple. I've only got one question. So let's get into this one and see what happens. Some of these interviews, if you're watching on YouTube at youtube.com/Sophie Lawson, if there is any interviews, some of them might not have videos, because I've got on my hand, I've attached my iPhone to my arm, and it's acting as a microphone. So that's where I'm going to be getting the audio from. Hello. And well, if they don't want to be on the camera, I'll say, would you like to be just on the audio? So if it's just audio, I'll play some scenes from Saltrum or something. So let's get into it and see what happens. So I've sorted myself out. What I'm going to do now is, I've decided to change it a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk to Saltrum with the camera, and then basically anybody I see, there's somebody right in front of me now. See, I'm scared already. But it's very wet and cold today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk to Saltrum and basically just see what happens, really. It's going to be quite cool, this. I'm not going to ask that lady, because what happened was, I was watching a video last night. I'm going to get wet shoes here, walking across the grass, get wet feet. I was watching a video this morning for tips on how to interview strangers and stuff, like public people on the streets. And one of the things he said was, don't approach somebody from behind. Yeah. So what he said was, if you spotted somebody that you're walking behind them, what you want to do is cross the road, sort of run in front of Doggy. Look, hey, hello, Doggy. What you want to do is across the road and then run in front of them, run around the corner or something, and then so that you approach them from the front, because he said it would be a bit weird, somebody coming up from behind. And he said the way you start it is very important. He also said, if you're nervous, which I probably am at the moment, he said that's going to come off as an energy, and the person will feel nervous as well. But he said the only way to not be nervous is to keep doing it. Yeah, so he almost said, like, unfortunately, the first few times, well, hundreds of times, because he said he had interviewed over, I think it was 10,000 or 100,000 different people on the streets. It's the bloke who did a book called, what's it? Something to do with New York. People of New York or something. Yeah. So he said he's approached 10 to 100,000 people. So it goes into something I said last week on the podcast. What I said was, the beginning is the hardest bit. And it's weird because the beginning is the hardest bit. But it's when you're most nervous as well. So you're going to be most scared to do it when it's also the hardest bit. So it's almost like a double whammy going into a tunnel here. I love this. Love the acoustics. I love that word. 2 words I love: foliage and acoustics. I forgot that we're actually in a lockdown. Keep forgetting about that. So there's probably not going to be as many people as normal. Hey, oh, I'm scared. I can't do it yet. See, I just went past somebody. I got too scared. Oh, it's a camera. You can't approach somebody with a camera, I don't think. I wonder how I could do this. Yeah, you've got to try to make it less intimidating. What might I have to do? I don't know. This is an experiment, really. So if I walk there and I don't manage to interview anybody or talk to anyone, I have to accept that. But at least I tried. I love the sounds out here. Also, I'm going to stop this. I think I'm going to walk to Saltrum and then I'll stop it, because otherwise the video will be for too long. Walking along the railway here. It's cool, it is. There's normally a little cat down there. Little cat sits on the railway. Runs about, he does. I love the sound of birds. All I've got to do is say, hello, would you like to be on the podcast? What am I going to say? Hello. Actually, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop recording for a minute, and I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know whether to approach the person with the camera on. Hey, look, there's a cat. Pretty cat. Hello. Hey. Look, I love that cat. It's always running along the railway, it is. Birds are cool. See if I can catch a bird. Hey, there's a birdie. birdies in the sky. It's a very nice day today, even though it's freezing. We're going to cross over the little, it's like a little motorway thing. It's very noisy. But I like this because what happens is, it's almost like super noisy just before you go into the woods. So you have like super noisy and then it's super quiet. A couple of people on a bike approaching. Danger! No, not really. That was something else he said on the video as well. He said, approach people on their own. Because he said even if somebody's with their friend, they'll be more guarded. So people are more open when they're on their own. That's what he said. So you're looking for somebody else who's on their own. And yeah, you got to be approaching them from the front, face on, like. But also, I'm going to go off of the energy. So if I approach somebody and I think I like them, or if it feels right, I'll say something. That's something else though. Sometimes you can that's another one, little tunnel. Sometimes people don't look like the way they look. Because like somebody might look really miserable or something. When you talk to them, they're really nice. It's weird that. Here we go, we're getting into the quietness now. Go over by the water. I wonder how many people we're going to see down here today. I've seen one person so far on their own. Birdies! Hey, little robin! Little robin! This is my spirit animal, that is. Little robin. That's a sign. Hey! Yeah. Oh, the water's out. When the water's in, it's brilliant down here. I'm determined to approach one person at least today. I've got to. I'm just going to say, what I'm going to say. Hello, would you like to be on the podcast? Birds are amazing. There's something about birds flying in the sky. It's like, for me, it's the ultimate freedom. Super freedom. There's a shipwreck down here. It looks brilliant when the water's in. Somebody at the art class I used to go to did a painting of this. It was brilliant. Because what it is it's got a little bit of colour on it. A little bit of blue and red amongst the sort of wreckage. So when you paint it, that blue and red pops. Which is nice. Birdies everywhere. Yeah, the sun's out today, which is cool. this is a good place here because you've got a mix of nature. You've got the mix of the sounds of nature with the sounds of humans. I've always noticed that unless it's music, human sounds are very aggressive and sort of, they're not very pleasing. Whereas nature has a nice feeling about it. The sounds of nature are very calming. Whereas the sounds of humans, unless it's music, they're normally very, the total opposite of peaceful. I can't see a single person. Hey, there's somebody. There's two of them. Little pushchairs. So, not allowed to, well, you can, but I want a single person. It's also like baby steps, isn't it? Make it as easy as possible. So cold, my fingers are freezing. Hey, I can see a bloke over there on his own, walking across. Might bump into somebody on a bike, stopping on the bike. But, hey, there's a doggy sat on the bike. That's quite funny, that. Going over a bridge in a minute. Big bridge over there. Hey, there's a bloke there. Shall I ask him? Come on, shall I ask him? Let's do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to point the camera at the floor and then I'll say, right, here we go. Come on, he looks quite cool actually. Yeah, I like him. Right, ready? Watch this. Watch this. Excuse me, would you like to be on a podcast?
So?
Would you like to be on a podcast? Podcast talking about paranormal experiences?
No.
No? Oh, okay. No, that's alright. No thanks. Very pleasant. You look quite cool, you did. I don't think he had heard of podcasts before. Lots of people on bikes. Oh, there's somebody else here. Right, let's try again. Oh, I think that was a bloke I saw earlier. Paranormal Experiences. Have you ever seen a ghost? I'm getting a little bit scared. It's very scary. It's not scary though, is it? It's all in the mind. See, this one, I don't feel like I want to approach this one. Isn't it weird? Different energies from people you get. I think there's a fish or something in the water over there. It's like making bubbles. Water's cool. Hey, there he is, this little, I think it's one of those black, it's like a black swan or something. You see them a lot down here. I wonder what they are. Wait for him to come back up. My camera's still doing that thing where it goes blurry. It's a bit weird. Hey, okay. I think he's busy swimming. Lots of people got headphones on. Oh, I'm really scared. Why is it so scary to talk to people? I do wonder that. Hey, this guy looks cool. Shall I ask him? No, he's got headphones in again. It's quite funny, this. Like I said, this is an experiment. So I've already succeeded, because I did what I wanted to do, which was approach one person. That was my goal. So anything else now is a bonus. I think I'd rather approach a lady. Doggy! Hey, little doggy. Oh yeah, there's loads of cars down here as well. Oh, I wish the water was in. I'm going to talk about something here. Yeah, there's not many people out today. I was thinking to myself then, I might leave it as that I've asked somebody and they said no thank you. Oh, I love those little things. They're like, I'd love to have one of those. It's like a road sweeper thing. The thing is, they can drive on like the pavements and everything. They're cool, they are. Yeah. I think I'm going to pause the video for the moment. Oh, I can see somebody approaching. The thing to remember is this. You're never going to see the person again anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And what's the worst they can say? No thank you. It's not really that bad. So why does it feel so scary? That's what I want to know. Weird. It's lies, I think. Sort of lies or something. I love it down here. Hey, there's somebody. Well, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to point the camera to the floor in a minute. Excuse me. I've practiced already. Oh. No, I can't do it. Yeah, you can. Oh, he's looking at his phone. Is he pretending? Oh, I can't. I'm going to... No, not at the minute. God, the scariness is quite big. Yeah. Scariness. Fear. It's amazing how many people have got headphones in. It's like Blake had headphones in as well. Oh, I like this bit. We go onto a path now. It's crunchy. As you're walking on it, it crunches. It's cool. Little thing there. There's a little thing in the water where people have little jet skis and stuff. Looks beautiful out here today. Really cool it is. Looks brilliant. Are you ready for the crunchy? Crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. Oh, it's not as crunchy as normal because it's all wet. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. I think I'll end up calling this video a trip to Saltrum or something. Saw me little robin there. I love that. I've been walking for 23 minutes so far. We're nearly at Saltrum now. Crunchy, listen to this. Can you hear that sound in the background? That's it's the tip, recycling tip. That's why there's loads of cars down here. Some people ahead. Little doggy. See, that's another sort of horrible sound. Man-made sound. I have to get past these people. Yeah. Hey.
Chasing squirrels.
Thank you. This path goes on forever. If you come down here and it's quite dark, it's brilliant because it's like a massive long, it's like a long tunnel with light at the end. It's brilliant, it does. Quite crunchy here. I wonder if I get to interview somebody. Ooh. What am I going to do after today then? Moving forward, what's the next goal? I think I'm going to... What am I going to do? I'm going to try and interview somebody on the podcast. On Zoom or something. I was thinking about asking my Reiki healer. She's amazing. Rachel Rendell. I might ask her. Because she's got some stories to tell about her childhood and stuff. With like spirits and stuff. Little birdie, look. Little birdie. Doing. quite funny. There's a little bird on their path as well. He's quite cool actually. He's pretty hungry. I wonder what animals think. I always think that. Do you think animals are just like us? If we're all one, then that means that animal thinks like me. It's quite hard to imagine. Squidgy. There's a nice glow to the sun today. I wonder what lilDENNiS is doing. He's in my bag, he is. He's squelched up in my bag. Kitty's at home today, little kitty. She's resting. I didn't have room for Kitty as well. Because lilDENNiS is the co-host. He got to come out. I think what would be better is to go into city centre with loads of people. I think that would be better. Because like that bloke said, you got to just keep asking people. And in the end, somebody will say yes. I would like to talk about it. And then I think it would get easier. I'm enjoying this though. It's quite exciting. It's scary but exciting. We're getting into Saltrum now, which is nice. So it only takes 30 minutes. It's quite good. I thought it took longer than that. I think that I'm going to go until 1 hour and then I'm going to stop recording because I've only got a certain amount of web space for these things. I might edit this as well. This is a little beach. There's a little beach down here. It's a bit rubbish when the water's out. Loads of people down here. This is where all the people are. Try not to get people on the camera unless they want to be. My hands are so cold. Got a little bike. Loads of people, but they're all... See how many people are. This is cool. I love this. This is where all the people come. Oh, there's a lady there. Shall I ask her? Doggies. Little babies crying. Isn't it weird, the sounds of babies?
No. She hasn't done it yet.
God, there's loads of people here. It's like a mass gathering. It's quite funny. Doggy, doggy, doggy.
She's very quiet, isn't she?
Yeah, doggies.
I've got chairs in the car if you can't find a seat.
Doggy. Dogs everywhere.
I promise this one hot chocolate. They got their Christmas menu out.
Hot chocolate. Hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate. Maybe you can hear what they were saying. It's quite cool. Talking about hot chocolate. Oh, doggy. Hello. There's an idiot. See, I would ask her, but the thing is, because there's so many people behind me now, you can make excuses, isn't it? It's just always making excuses. Yeah. It's nervousness. At least I'm trying. What I did this when I did my automatic waiting this morning, it said it doesn't matter the result. All that matters is you tried your best, which I like that. I need somebody on their own.
A good report on her.
I think I might leave it in a minute. What's it called? Go home and regroup. Evaluate the evidence. Yeah, I'm proud of myself though. At least I asked somebody. It's just a lot scarier than, well, it is and it isn't. It's weird. It is scary, but it's not. I can't explain it really. I suppose there's like two, what's it called? There's two sort of things inside of me at the minute. I'm going to record the ending now, I think. What I did is I put the camera on the wall, get lilDENNiS out his bag. So today's podcast was not about, what's it called? It was supposed to be about spiritual experiences. Hello. lilDENNiS. Where's lilDENNiS? He needs to do the gong. Look, lilDENNiS is in his little bowl. I love lilDENNiS. So I approached one person. One's better than nothing, I suppose. God, my hands are so cold. They're freezing. That's one of the main reasons I want to stop. So this lilDENNiS, what's he saying? lilDENNiS says, oh, I'll tell you what I might do. I might ask people what they think of lilDENNiS. Yeah, I might say, do you like lilDENNiS? Yeah, well, I enjoyed that. I did enjoy it. That sounds brilliant, right? Yeah? Listen to this one. This is episode 139 of the Safety Art podcast. A little podcast to do about the art and things. And, we've got to do this week's inspirational quote. It's in the bag. I love this one. Oh, where is it? It's in here. It's in one of my pockets, I think. This week's inspirational quote. It says, if you don't take that first step, a path won't open for you. Satoru Fujinami. Satoru Fujinama from the anime Erased. It's one of my all-time favourite animes, that. In fact, I think it might be my favourite. I love that anime. It's called Erased. It's all about this bloke who's little boy who like time travels and stuff. It's brilliant. So it says, if you don't take that first step, a path won't open for you. Satoru Fujinama. Satoru Fujinama.